The revolution will not be comfortable. Why hope demands more than survival. Welcome to the Soft Girl Era podcast, where we trade survival mode for sacred softness, where we drop the cape and pick up our peace. I'm LeAnne Dolce, pronounced Dolice, like sweet softness whispered in French, and today we're diving into something that will shake you awake and tuck you in all at once. I recently had the honor of sitting down with Glenda Coleman, a powerhouse who is rewriting what resilience looks like. Glenda is a domestic violence survivor who eulogized her daughter after 24 years of living with her in the hospital. 24 years. Let that settle in your spirit for a moment. She didn't just survive, she showed up, she stayed present, and she turned her pain into a megaphone for hope. Glenda Coleman embodies what it means to transform trauma into testimony. And her message, Hope is Alive, isn't just a slogan. It's a battle cry for every Black woman who has been told to be strong when all she wanted was permission to fall apart and rebuild. Her work is making the world a better place by reminding us that hope is not passive, it is ferociously active, and it refuses to let anyone stay stuck in the wreckage. So here's what we are doing today. I am sharing the insights from my conversation with Glenda Coleman, weaving in stories of Black women who are living proof that hope does not just survive, it thrives, it builds empires, it funds futures, and it refuses to be quiet. Let's start here. Hope fuels breakthroughs. That is the first thing Glenda Coleman made crystal clear. Hope is not passive. It is not sitting around waiting for things to get better while you scroll through your phone pretending you are fine. Hope is active. It is the thing that gets you out of bed when your body is screaming to stay under the covers. It is the force that makes you apply for the funding, even though the statistics say you will not get it. It is what keeps you building when the world keeps tearing down. And Black women, we have been the architects of hope in rooms that did not even have blueprints for us. Take Amoy Henry, co founder of Pitch Better. In 2020, Black women in Canada raised virtually no venture capital, virtually none. The ecosystem was not just ignoring them, it was designed to exclude them. Amoy could have thrown her hands up. She could have said, you know what, this is not for me. But instead, she left Canada, went to the UK and West Africa, wrote angel checks, joined syndicates, built credibility, and came back with receipts. She tracked 6 Black women founders who each raised over $1 million. $1 million each. That is not luck. That is hope with a strategy. That is resilience with a business plan. That is a Black woman saying, if the table will not make space for me, I will build my own and invite everyone who has been left standing outside. Amoy Henry did not just break through, she created a blueprint for others to follow. She turned her frustration into fuel and her exclusion into an invitation for others to rise. And that is what hope does. It does not just save you, it creates pathways for the people coming behind you. She wrote an article in 2020 that exposed the inequities in venture capital for Black women. And instead of just complaining, she became the solution. She made over a dozen angel investments, launched funds, and tracked scalable models in critical sectors. Her work is not just changing numbers on a spreadsheet, it is changing lives. It is changing ecosystems. It is changing what is possible for Black women who dare to dream big. Now, let's talk about the second thing Glenda Coleman emphasized. Intentional inclusion builds legacies. This is not about diversity for the sake of a press release. This is not about checking a box so your company looks good on Instagram. This is about creating ecosystems where Black people do not just survive, we thrive, where we are not the exception, we are the expectation. Gloria Opong gets this. She is the founder of Cleanster, an AI powered platform that connects people with reliable cleaning services. Now, you might be thinking, cleaning services really? But here's the thing Gloria saw an industry that was informal, undervalued, and full of distrust. She saw an opportunity to bring dignity and technology to a space that everyone else overlooked. And as a young Black immigrant woman, she had to work twice as hard to be taken seriously. But Gloria did not let that stop her. She built transparency into her platform. She vetted professionals. She leveraged early traction in the US to scale, and she raised $4.1 million. 4.1 million for cleaning services because she understood that every industry deserves innovation and every worker deserves dignity. Gloria Apong did not just build a business. She built an ecosystem that elevates the people doing the work. She created a model that says your labor matters, your time matters, your trust matters. And that is what intentional inclusion looks like. It is not charity, it is equity. It is saying, I am not just going to succeed, I am going to make sure the people who helped me get here succeed too. She spotted a gap in daily life services that others ignored and built from the ground up despite biases. Her platform offers instant bookings that bridge households to professionals, digitizing dignity and turbocharging trust. She is supporting Black neighborhoods by creating reliable service ecosystems that reinvest in the community. And then there is Demira Baker, owner of Mirror, the salon in Baltimore. Demira is carrying on a family legacy that goes back generations. Her grandfather, Henry Sr., built a chain of salons that revolutionized the beauty industry for Black women. This was not just about haircuts and styling. This was about creating spaces where Black women could feel seen, valued, and beautiful in a world that constantly told them they were not enough. The Baker family empire stretched from TVs to salons, filling voids in Black access during post incarceration eras when our communities were starved for resources and representation. But after family losses, including battles with cancer, the question became who is going to keep this going? Who is going to honor what was built? Who is going to make sure this legacy does not die? Demira stepped up. She modernized the salons with a no waiting model. She kept the doors open on Erdman Avenue. She reinvested in the community. She did not just inherit a business, she inherited a responsibility. And she is honoring it every single day. That is what legacy looks like. It is not just about what you build, it is about who you build it for. It is about making sure the next generation has a foundation to stand on. It is about saying, my family survived so I could thrive, and I am going to make sure the next person does not have to start from scratch. The salon thrives today, sustaining a Black beauty ecosystem that goes from wigs to walk ins, with beauty booming Black owned. Demira is fostering pride and hope through generational Black ownership, proving that when we invest in our own, we create something that outlasts us. Now, here's the third thing Glenda Coleman wants you to tattoo on your heart. Your story ignites the next. Glenda Coleman is living proof of this. She survived domestic violence. She spent 24 years caring for her daughter in the hospital. She eulogized her own child. And instead of letting that break her, she let it build her. She turned her survival into a spark for others. She became a voice for hope in spaces where hope felt impossible. And that is the thing about our stories. We think they are just ours. We think they are too painful, too messy, too specific. But the truth is, your story is someone else's permission slip. Your breakthrough is someone else's blueprint. Your survival is someone else's starting point. When Amoye Henry wrote that article in 2020 exposing the inequities in venture capital, she did not know it would lead to a dozen angel investments and fund launches. She just knew she had to say something. When Gloria Pong saw a gap in daily life services, she did not know she would raise millions. She just knew someone had to fill it. When Demira Baker took over the salon, she did not know she would be sustaining a Black beauty ecosystem for generations. She just knew she could not let it die. That is what happens when you share your story. You do not just heal yourself, you ignite someone else. You become the match that lights 1,000 other fires. You become the proof that it is possible. You become the reason someone else decides to try one more time. So here is where we get practical. Because Glenda Coleman did not just give us inspiration, she gave us a challenge. She said, straighten up and build. Seek one ally intro. Fund one Black visionary. Legitimize your hustle today. Turn your hope into action because hope is alive and it demands movement. Let me break that down for you. Seek one ally intro. That means stop waiting for someone to discover you. Reach out, ask for the introduction, connect with someone who can open a door. You do not need 100 connections. You need one good one. One person who believes in you enough to put their name next to yours. Fund one Black visionary. That means if you have got resources, use them. Write the check, make the investment, support the business. Stop saying you want to see more Black owned businesses and then spending all your money at corporations that do not even know your name. Put your money where your mouth is. Legitimize your hustle today. That means stop calling it a side gig. Stop downplaying what you are building. Get the LLC, build the website, treat your dream like the business it is. Because if you do not take it seriously, no one else will. And here's the thing, Glenda Coleman wants you to feel something after this. She wants you fired up and unbreakable. She wants you inspired by survivors like her. She wants you hopeful for your own breakthroughs. She wants you connected in this shared roar because hope is alive and it leaves you ready to conquer. Now, let me bring this home. This is the soft girl era, which means we are not just talking about grinding harder. We are talking about grounding deeper. We are talking about releasing the cape, redefining strength, embracing softness, healing in real time, protecting pieces of practice, and turning purpose beyond pain. Glenda Coleman did that. She released the cape of having to be strong all the time. She redefined strength as showing up even when it hurt. She embraced softness by letting herself grieve. She healed in real time by turning her pain into purpose. She protected her peace by choosing hope. And she turned her survival into something sacred for others. That is the blueprint. That is the model. That is what it looks like to live in your soft girl era while still building empires. So here's my challenge to you, and I am not asking politely. I am demanding that you disrupt your own comfort. What are you going to do differently after hearing this? Not tomorrow, not next week, not when you feel ready. Today, right now, in this moment. Are you going to reach out for that introduction you have been putting off because you are afraid of rejection? Are you going to fund that visionary whose dream you have been watching from the sidelines? Are you going to legitimize your hustle and stop treating your purpose like a hobby? Are you going to share your story even though it scares you? Because hope is alive. And it is not just alive in Glenda Coleman. It is not just alive in Amoye Henry or Gloria Apong or Demira Baker. It is alive in you. It is alive in the decision you make today to stop waiting and start building. It is alive in the moment you choose softness over survival mode. It is alive in the breath you take before you say no to what is draining you and yes to what is filling you. Hope is alive and it is the loudest thing in the room when you finally give it permission to speak. It is the roar that says, I am here. I matter. I am building something that will outlast me. It is the whisper that says, rest is resistance. It is the fire that says, my story is not over. So straighten up, build, move, disrupt, create, fund, share, speak, rise. Because the world is not just waiting for what only you can create, the world needs it. The next generation is watching. The woman behind you is waiting for your story to give her permission. The ecosystem you build today will sustain communities tomorrow. No, Glenda Coleman, along with every Black woman who has ever turned pain into power, is not just cheering you on, she is daring you to step into the fullness of who you were always meant to be. She is challenging you to stop playing small. She is reminding you that hope is not a feeling, it is a decision, and you get to make that decision every single day. Welcome to your soft girl era. Hope is alive. Now go live like the revolution depends on it, because it does.